For us to discuss the definition of crimes and criminals, it is more on the study of criminology. It is important that the basic concepts regarding crimes and criminals are misunderstood because basically that is what criminology is all about. Since crimes are committed by persons, these persons must also be studied. Simply said, crimes will not exist without criminals. Since lahat naman po tayo, we're all taking up Bachelor of Science in Criminology, and it is also been defined na ang criminology is the scientific study of crimes and criminals. We all know naman po that ang persons na liable in the commission of a crime, in a commission of an offense, felony, or any infraction, so yan po ay related po sa tinatawag natin na crimes, and they are called the so-called criminals. Kailangan din po natin, this is all correlated with each other, yung pong term na crimes and criminals. So throughout this chapter, we're going to focus on discussing and providing more specific explanation with regards sa crimes and criminals. So the definition of the word crime. So the term crime is a generic term which refers to all acts that violates the law. According to the Philippine law, crime is an act committed or omitted in violation of public law. Another definition is crime is an act committed or omitted in violation of a public law forbidding or commanding it. So technically speaking, ang crime po kasi there is a corresponding law wherein meron pong nag-violate ng particular law na yon. So yung the action itself na tinatawag po nating law violation, it is automatically described as the so-called crimes. So lahat po ng batas na meron pong nag-conduct ng violation, ang tawag po doon is the so-called crime. You already commit a crime pag ikaw po ay merong na-violate na any particular law. And crimes are also defined by the criminal or penal laws. Criminal laws explicitly state what actions are required to be done and provides for the penalties or punishments to be imposed in case of violation of the laws. Without laws that prohibit the acts cannot be called a crime. This is the essence of the Latin principle nullum crimen nulla pena sine lege. So it means there is no crime if there is no law punishing it. So the term or the legal maxim, tandaan, take note of this, first year student, the nullum crimen nulla pena sine lege, that is the so-called legal maxim. Ang ibig sabihin po niyan that there is no crime if there is no law punishing it. Kailangan meron po munang application ng law. There is the corresponding law. Meron po dapat batas para masabi na merong tinatawag na crime. Alright? So next, here are the triangle of crime. So yung triangle of crime, it is also known as the elements of crime. So the triangle of crime, that is a graphical representation of elements of a crime. The three elements are the so-called desire, opportunity, and capability. So yun po yung kailangan na component. Yang tatlo po na yan pong desire, opportunity, and capability. So yan po yung tatlong component para po masabi na that is the so-called crime. So these three elements must be present in a given situation before a crime may be committed. So in the absence of one, there can be no crime. So uulitin po ni ma'am, yung tatlo po na yan, such as desire, opportunity, and capability, dapat all of these elements were all present for us to consider na meron pong crime. By the way, my dear students, since all of you are subscribing, I would like to encourage to please comment down your full name. Unahin po muna ang apelyido and pangalan. Pagka-comment po, after the name, include din po, paki-indicate yung pong inyong section. For example, De La Cruz Juan, BS Cream 1-1. Okay? Sorry for the interruption. So, for the continuation of the triangle or elements of crime, so ito po, the element of desire refers to the wanting of the person to commit a crime. Yun yung kagustuhan niya. Meron siyang ninanais. So, that is the so-called desire. Yan po yung kanyang gustong mangyari. Pangalawa po is the so-called the capability. Pag sinabi po natin capability, yung pangalawang elements po sa paggawa ng crime, it is the ability or means of the offender to commit the crime. Yan po yung kanyang kakayahan na makagawa ng krimen. So, na-mention po natin dito yung term na offender. So, ano po ba ang ibig sabihin ng offender? Ang offender po is the person that is responsible for the commission of the crime. O sa madaling salita, siya po yung gumawa ng crime. That is the so-called offender. Next, yung pangatlong element is the so-called opportunity. Opportunity refers to the physical possibility for crime to be committed. So yung opportunity is somehow alike po na it refers to, yaan po yung application na. Meron na siyang chance, meron na siyang pagkakataon para isagawa yung kanyang krimen. Okay? So among these three elements, opportunity is what is being eliminated in all crime prevention activities. So na-mention po dito yung tinatawag natin na crime prevention. So ibig sabihin po ng crime prevention, hindi po hinahayaan na meron pong mangyaring krimen. Wala pang crime na nangyayari. Example po, ma'am, ano bang example ng crime prevention? Example po, ang ating mga law enforcers or the police officers, the PNP officers, we're conducting checkpoint. We're conducting police patrol. Yung police patrol po, yan po yung pagro-roving. Pag-iikot sa isang area of responsibility. So, yan po yung paraan, process, method ng Philippine National Police para magkaroon ng prevention sa crime. Hindi pinapayagang mangyari na merong crime. Okay? Here are the illustration ng classification of crime. So, my dear students, as flash on your screen or your window, here are the classification of crime. So, ang crimes were being classified as legal and criminological classification. Tandaan po, meron pong dalawang classification ng crimes. That is legal and criminological classification. According to legal, so number 1 po, law violated. So, ang crime po, merong tatlo. Meron po siyang tatlong klaseng crime. So, take note of this. Meron po tayong natawag na felony. Meron po pangalawa offense. Merong pangatlo po which is infraction. So, unang-una po, we've mentioned the term felony. Felony. So, ang felony po, this is a type of crime. Klase ng krimen, pero the law violated is under the revised penal code. Take note of this. Pag ang na-violate mong batas ay nasa loob ng revised penal code, that is the so-called felony. Pangalawa, type of crime is the so-called offense. So, paano masasabi na ang crime mo is an offense? Pag ang na-violate mong batas, ang batas na katulad ng mga special laws. Okay, ma'am, ano po example ba ng special laws? Ano po ba ang example ng special laws? For example, Republic Act 9262. Okay, ano po ba yung Republic Act 9262? This is the Anti-Violence Act Against Women and Their Children. Yan yung mga special na batas na tinatawag. Okay, so pag ikaw po ay naka-violate ng batas under the special law, it is called an offense. Pangatlo, crime na infraction. Ibig sabihin ng infraction, ikaw ay naka-violate ng batas under sa batas ng city or municipality. Okay? For example, sa city or municipality na batas, the wearing of, for example, the face mask and face shield. So yan ay pinanukala, for example, ng inyong city government. So it means, pag ikaw ay nakaviolate ng batas under their particular law, that is the so-called infraction. Okay, ulitin ni ma'am ha. Felony, pag nilabag mo, under the revised penal code. Offense, pag ang nilabag mo is under special law. Infraction, pag ang nilabag mong batas is under city or municipal ordinance. Okay? Next po is according to the manner of committing the crime. Sa paanong paraan ba na-commit ang crime? So, dolo or deceit na tinatawag. And next but not the least is the culpa or tinatawag natin na fault. So, yan dalawang na yan po yung manner, paraan sa pag-commit ng crime. So, felony is an act or omission punishable by law which is committed by means of dolo or deceit or culpa or fault. So, punishable under ng revised penal code. Gaya po ng sinabi ni ma'am kanina, pag ikaw ay naka-violate ng batas under ng revised penal code, tandaan, take note, first year, yung revised penal code na yan po ang Bible. Bible ng mga criminology students and all criminology practitioners. Yan po ang ating Bible. Kung if we're going to compare it to the Holy Bible ng mga Catholic, that is the Holy Bible. Sa mga Muslims naman, kapatid nating Muslim, yan yung tinatawag natin na Quran. Pero sa atin, in the world of criminology, our Holy Bible is the so-called revised penal code. Yan ang ating pambansang libro, kung tawagin nga. And felonies committed by means of dolo are called intentional. Intentional. Okay? Ibig sabihin, sinadya. While those committed by means of culpa are called culpable felonies. Hindi mo sinasadya. May mga chances kasi, my dear students, na nakagawa ka ng kasalanan is just because sometimes hindi mo sinasadya. Wala talaga. You did not mean it. However, you violated the law. Example po niyan, mga kapatid, yung tinatawag natin na culpa. You are driving, no? Nagmamaneho ka. It so happened, malakas ang ulan. Medyo hindi ganon kaganda yung vision mo pagka maulan, and take note, gabi ka nagdadrive, nasasakyan. It so happened, bigla ka nakasagasa. You did not mean it. Hindi mo yung pinagplanuhan, wala sa loob mong makasagasa. That is the so-called culpa. Hindi mo yun sinasadya. However, even if hindi mo yun sinasadya, you still committed or you still violated a law. Okay? So, ikaw pa rin ay liable sa commission ng isang krimen. Okay? Next po. These are the so-called stages in the commission of a crime. Meron tayong attempted crime. We also have frustrated crime. We also have consummated. Okay, so let us give the definition of the following. So yung una po, attempted crime, gagawin mo siya but hindi mo siya totally nagawa because there are some corresponding circumstances. Okay? Hindi natuloy, naudlot. That is a so-called attempted crime. Frustrated crime. For example, you're about to kill letter A. It so happened, yung ginamit mong patalim, hindi talaga hindi nag-cause sa kanya ng death, injury lang. So that would result to frustrated homicide. Nakukuha po ba? Yung ginawa mong action, hindi mo talaga siya totally na-implement. And for the consummated crimes, pag sinabing consummated, you deliver fully the commission of the crime. Ibig sabihin, nagawa mo ng maayos yung pag-commit ng crime. For example, sa consummated crimes, Gusto mo talagang lasunin si letter A. So, ang ginawa mo, gumawa ka ng iba't ibang necessary actions para siya ay makakain ng pagkain na mayroon lason. It so happened, lahat ng plano mo were all succeed. Lahat. Nagawa mo lahat ng maayos. So, definitely, nangyari kay letter A yung gusto mong maging result. So, ano nangyari? Namatay si letter A dahil sa pinakain mong food na merong poison. So, that is the so-called consummated crime. Nagawa mo talaga siya. Kumbaga, perfectly ang pagkakagawa sa crime. Next is to according to the so-called plurality. So, ano ba yan? We have the so-called simple crimes and complex crimes. We have simple crimes and complex crimes. Next is to according to the gravity of the crime. So that we have the light felonies, less grave felonies, and then grave felonies. Ito po ang ibig sabihin po nito is depende kung gaano ba kabigat yung nagawa mong krimen. Okay? For example, light felonies, yan po yung hindi naman siya ganun ka-heinous na krimen. Ang grave felonies, yan po yung heinous crime. So, yan po, ang example po niyan are the so-called murder. That is one of example ng grave felonies. Depende po yung kung gaano ba kabigat yung nagawa mong commission sa crime. Okay, crimes are classified according to the gravity of the penalty. So, pag grave felonies are those to which the law attaches the capital punishment. Capital punishment or afflictive penalty. So, yung pinakamataas na pagpo-provide ng penalty sa tao, yan yung tinatawag natin na grave felony. Ganon. Kumbaga, ang katumbas ng grave felony, yung pinakamataas na category ng pagbibigay ng penalty. So, my dear students, na-mention po natin dito yung term na punishment. Okay? Sa batas, sa ating bansa ngayon, on our country, the Philippines, lahat po ng taong nakukulong sa kanyang nagawang kasalanan, hindi po yan paraan ng tinatawag na punishment. Ang reason behind bakit po tayo nagkukulong ng isang tao dahil nakagawa siya ng crime or law violation, it's just because the government wants to be reformed. That particular individual or being rehabilitated, gusto siyang gamutin. Hindi siya subject for providing or imposition of punishment. Uulitin ni ma'am. Hindi po pagpaparusa ang binibigay sa mga taong nakukulong. Ang ibinibigay sa mga taong nakukulong ay ang tinatawag na rehabilitation process, reformation process, para pag siya po ay lumaya na at siya ay babalik na sa society, siya po ay totally reformed. Kumbaga siya po ay magaling na. Never na siya makakakomit ng same crime. Alright, so next, let's now proceed with less grave felonies. Pag less grave felonies are those to which the law attaches the correctional penalties. So light penalties are those two which the law attaches the penalty of arresto minor, pinakamababang category. So the fine na kakibat ng tinatawag natin na arresto minor is not exceeding to 200 pesos. Lahat po ng any law violation which has a fine na hindi lalagpas ng 200 pesos, we can categorize that as light penalties. Okay? So here are the different natures of the acts according to crimes, ha? So meron tayong mala inse and mala prohibita. Take note po. So ano po bang ibig sabihin ng mala inse? So mala inse are acts that are inherently or naturally bad or evil, such as killing another person or taking something that that does not belongs to you. While mala prohibita are acts that are prohibited only because there are laws forbidding such acts. So traffic violations and smoking in non-smoking areas are example of this crime. So in addition for this definition of terms, ang malainse, mas madali natin tong marirecognize na crime, yaan po yung kumbaga batas na talaga ng Diyos. Di ba po? We all know naman sa Ten Commandments, you shall not kill, you shall not steal, you shall not commit adultery. So, yaan po yung mga batas. Pag na-violate yung mga ganyang batas, that would fall to mala inse. Pero yung mala prohibita, pag sinabi nating mala prohibita, ito po yung mga batas lang na ginawa na ng tao. What are those? Na-provide na ni ma'am yung dalawang example, yung traffic violation. Ito po, yung smoking sa mga non-smoking areas. Another, yung mga loading, no loading and unloading, doon ka nagbaba, doon ka nagsakay. So hinuli ka, may violation kang ginawa. Automatic, that is a sample of mala prohibita. Another, you are not wearing face mask, you are not wearing face shield. Okay? That is mala prohibita. Another example, na huli ka because of sa curfew hours, lagpas ka na ng curfew hours. So that is under mala prohibita. Okay, another example naman. For example, ikaw ay nakiapid sa asawa ng iba. So automatically speaking, it is already naturally bad. It is naturally evil. It is already a law given to us by our Almighty Father. Alam na natin yan ever since na yan po ay mali at tama. So it is under the category of mala inse. So we need to know the difference of the two. Next in line is, here are the second naman po, yung criminological classification. Okay? Kasi kanina, we talk about the legal classification. So let's now proceed with criminological classification of crimes. So sa criminological classification of crimes, meron tayong according to the result of the crime. So unang-una, meron tayong acquisitive and we have the so-called destructive. So a crime is classified as acquisitive if the offender, so again ang offender is law violator, yung taong gumawa ng crime. So if the offender gained something, material or otherwise, by committing the crime, robbery or theft, is acquisitive because the offender is able to gain something that is the object he stole. Okay, so by the way, na-mention natin dito yung term na robbery or theft. So, syempre, alam naman po natin na ang robbery or theft, meaning to say, yan po ay ang pagkuha or you are gaining something na hindi mo naman pagmamayari. Kinuha yung mga hindi yung pagmamayari. However, merong pagkakaiba yung dalawang yan. Ha? So, I'm going to give an overview kung ano ba ang pinagkaiba ng robbery sa theft. Ang robbery kasi ay ang pagkuha ng isang gamit pero merong tinatawag tayong force. Okay? For example, ng robbery, pumasok ka sa isang bahay, sinira mo yung gate, sinira mo yung pintuan, kinuha mo yung 3 laptop, kinuha mo yung 3 cellphone. That is robbery. Okay? However, yung theft naman is taking others person's property but wala po yung force upon things. Basta mo kinuha. Okay? That is the so-called theft. For example, yung theft na yan, sa isang tindahan, basta mo kinuha yung cellphone. Kinuha mo lang, wala kang sinira. Wala kang unnecessary things, basta kinuha mo yung cellphone. That is theft. Okay? Another naman po, yung sarili niyong katulong, kasambahay. Ninakawan ka sa loob ng bahay mo. For more than 5 years, siya ay naging yaya ng inyong mga kapatid. And it so happened, kinuha niya yung mga gamit niyo sa bahay. We could not refer that as theft or robbery. Bakit? Because binigyan mo po siya ng trust. pinagkatiwalaan mo. So, yung mga pinagkatiwalaan mong tao at ikaw ay ninakawan, ang pwede mong ikaso doon is qualified theft. Okay? So, basahin po muna natin yung ibig sabihin ba ng destructive before we're going to look upon the difference ng acquisitive sa destructive. So, ang destructive naman is the crime resulted in destruction, damage, or even death. Crimes of arson, damage to property, physical injuries, murder, and homicide are examples of this crime. So, mama na pinagkaiba ng dalawa. Ano ba yung crime as acquisitive and destructive? Pagka po ang krimen na ginawa mo, mako-consider natin siya or maka-classify natin siya as acquisitive if meron kang nakuha, meron kang na-benefit, meron kang na-gain. Kumbaga, meron kang prize sa sarili mo, na-overwhelm ka sa nakuha mo. But if it is destructive, if it is the so-called destructive crime, basta ikaw ay nakasira, nag-cause ka ng damage, nakapatay ka ng tao, it is considered as destructive. Wala ka namang nahita, wala kang nakuha. It so happened lang na meron kang nasira, meron kang napatay na tao. Okay? But, tandaan ha, pag ikaw po ay meron kang nakuha in exchange sa ginawa mo, that is the so-called acquisitive. Next, according to the time or period of the commission of the crime. So, meron tayong seasonal crimes na tinatawag, and we also have the so-called situational crimes. So, what's the difference ba ng dalawa? So, crimes are also classified based on the time or period of the year they are mostly committed. So, crimes are called seasonal if they happen only during a particular season or period of the year. So, pag sinabi po natin guys na seasonal crimes, meron lang siyang certain season na sinasagawa yung ganong klaseng crime. So, I'm going to give you an example, no? So, ito po, so a violation of election laws can only be committed during the election season or election period. So, di ba meron po tayong liquor ban every election period. So, if ever na ang isang tao is magkaroon po ng commission ng crime during that particular season only, ang tawag doon is nakakommit ka ng crime. Ang tawag doon is seasonal crime. Next, crimes are said to be situational when the situation is conducive to the commission of the crime, meaning there is the so-called opportunity to commit it. Theft, such as pickpocketing, is very common in crowded areas. So alam naman po natin, di ba, yung pickpocketing, yung pagkuha sa bag, sa bulsa ng mga tao. So it is one example of theft. So robbery can easily be committed when there is nobody in the house to guard it. So again, nabigay ni ma'am kanina yung elements ng robbery. So ang robbery, merong force upon things. Dumaan ka for ang entrance and exit, pinagpalit mo. For example, ikaw ay pumasok sa isang bahay na walang tao. Alam mong nasa vacation ang mga tao doon, and it so happened para hindi ka mapansin ng mga kapitbahay, sa backdoor ka dumaan. So it is also one of the element ng robbery. Okay? Next, tandaan class, ang difference lang po ng seasonal sa situational crimes. Ang seasonal, meron ng corresponding event on that particular period of time, kaya mo nagawa yung crime na yun. Pero yung situational crime, it's just because meron kang opportunity, kaya mo nagawa yung crime na yun. There is no such thing as season. Basta meron kang chance na gawin yun, magagawa mo yung commission ng isang crime. So next in line, we have this according to the length of crime, of time, of the commission of the crime. So that under crime, we have instant crimes and episodial crime. So ano po ba ang instant from episodial? So let me read this slide. From the name itself, instant instant crimes. So instant crimes are those crimes that may be committed in a very short time. Take note of that, my dear students. While the episodial crimes are committed through a series of acts or episodes in much longer amount of time. So, theft is an instant crime while serious illegal detention, more commonly known as kidnapping, is an episodial crime. So, pag sinabi po natin, my dear student, na tinatawag natin na instant crimes, in a span of kahit 30 minutes, you can definitely perform the crime. But pag sinabi nating episodial crime, maraming araw bago mo siya magawa. Ano po bang ibig sabihin, ma'am, niyang illegal detention na yan? Illegal detention. Pag yung illegal detention, ikaw ay nagkulong ng isang tao, pero hindi ka naman law authority. Okay? For example, yung girlfriend mo, nakipag-break na sa'yo. Ayaw niyang makipag-break. Ayaw niyang pumayag sa gusto mo. Ang ginawa ni Juan de la Cruz, yung girlfriend niya, pinadlock niya sa loob ng bahay niya. Gusto niya magkasama pa rin sila. So, it is a means of detention. I-detain niya yung kanyang girlfriend. So, that is the so-called illegal detention. So, usually, maraming araw ginagawa ang ganyang klaseng crime. So, i-detain ng isang araw, dalawang araw. So, hindi lang siya in an instant magagawa yun. Again, that is the so-called serious illegal detention. Next, according to place or location. So, sa crimes po under the place or location, that is the so-called static crimes or continuing crimes. We are referring sa lugar. Lugar po ng pinangyarihan ng krimen. So, ano po ba ang pinagkaiba ng static sa continuing crime? Ang static po, that is an area wherein on that particular area lang nangyari ang krimen. However, for the continuing crime, this is the transferring of in one place to another place referring to crime. Okay? So, ang static crimes are committed only in one place, such as theft and robbery. A continuing crime is a crime that takes place in more than one place or even in several places. Crime of abduction is an example of continuing crime. So, ganito po. Sa static crime, isang lugar lang. Kung saan ka, for example, kung saan mo siya ninakawan, that's it. For example, sa ICI school mo siya ninakawan ng cellphone. So that is a static crime. We are referring kung saan location lang. Next in line naman po, for the continuing crime, I'm going to give you an example. Sabihin po natin na nagkaroon ka ng kidnapping. So sa kidnapping, kinuha mo siya for example sa ICI school, biniyahe mo papuntang Malolos, Bulacan. Pagdating ng Malolos, Bulacan, tinransfer mo na naman sa ibang area. For example, pumunta kayo ng Baguio. Pagdating sa Baguio, dinala mo siya ng Mindanao. That is the so-called continuing crime. Palipat-lipat ka ng area kung saan ka nagkakandak ng commission ng crime. Okay? Do I make myself clear po sa pagkakaiba ng static sa continuing? Static, isang lugar. Continuing crime, more than one places, more than one areas ang commission ng crime. Next is the so-called according to the use of mental faculties. So we have the rational crimes. We also have the irrational crimes. So what is the difference? The basis of this classification is the mental state of the person who committed the crime. It is all called the rational crime when the offender is capable of knowing that he is doing and understanding the consequences of his action. His mental condition is normal, just like any average person is rational. So, meaning to say, yung rational crime, it means wala pong pagkakamali or wala pong mental illness yung tao. That person can determine the difference between right and wrong. Alam niya po ang pagkakamali, alam niya po ang ibig sabihin ng tama sa mali. That is the so-called rational. Okay? Rational crime po ang tawag doon. For the offender who is suffering from any form of mental insanity, mental disorder, mental abnormality, the offender cannot be said to know what he is doing and does not appreciate the result of his actions. So crimes committed by such persons are said to be irrational. Take note, irrational, because the offender himself is irrational and is not capable of understanding the crime to be committed. So technically speaking, yung irrational, yan po yung may mga pagkukulang sa kanilang pag-iisip. So wala sila sa sariling katinoan. So yan po yung mga mentally ill person. Okay? Merong disorder po sa kanilang pag-uutak. We can classify them as irrational. So according to the type of offender, so may mga crimes daw na nagagawa ng iba't ibang klase ng offender. So what are those? We have the white collar crimes and we have the blue collar crimes. So the basis of this classification is the economic and educational status of the person who committed the crime. A person who belongs to the upper socio-economic class or is employed on the basis of his profession is said to be white collar. So again yung white collar po, yan po yung mga nagtatrabaho or ang kanilang mga profession is narating ng isang educated person, wherein, technically speaking, sila po yung mga nakapag-aral. If such person would commit a crime in the nurse of his occupational activities using the knowledge and skills he possessed by being a practicing or professional, then the crime is classified as a white-collar crime. So I'm going to give an example of white-collar crime. Let's say, for example, a professor asking money in exchange for the grade of the student. So technically speaking, a professor is a type of person or a kind of person na nakapagtapos ng pag-aaral. Okay? So ang commission ng crime po niyan is asking a money in exchange po sa grade ng estudyante. So, we can consider that as a white-collar crime. Ang crime na nag-commit ay isang taong edukado. Another example, yung mga graft and corruption. So, yung klaseng crime na yan, yung klaseng law violation na yan, ay na-commit ng mga taong nasa elite or upper socio-economic class. Okay? Again, that is considered as white-collar crime. Tandaan, ang mga perpetrator dyan, pag sabing perpetrator, persons behind the commission of the crime. Yung perpetrator na yan ay automatic. Masasabi natin na siya ay edukado, galing sa mataas na antas ng ekonomiya, isa siyang mayaman na tao, that is considered as a white-collar crime. Next, a blue-collar crime is a crime committed by an ordinary criminal who commits crime as a source of his livelihood. So, the reason behind kung bakit niya nagagawa yung crime na yun is just because yun yung paraan niya. That is his own means para siya ay mabuhay. Yan po yung only way niya para masabing yan yung pwede niyang ibigay para sa kanya. For example, that particular person has a child na kailangan niyang bigyan ng gatas. So since hindi siya nakapag-aral, wala siyang magandang trabaho, that person can only do is magnakaw, mag-snatch. Okay? So, it is one example of the so-called blue-collar crimes. So, meaning to say, yung blue-collar crimes, ang gumagawa ng ganyang klaseng crime is yung mga tao po na somehow hindi po nakapag-aral. Okay? Walang maganda or walang ganong kagandang trabaho. that is again a blue-collar crime. So again, let's now proceed with the so-called crime statistics. So ang crime statistics, it is in the study of crimes, it is important to have records of the different crimes committed, their number, the specific period of time, and specific places where they are committed. This data would help in identifying which crimes occur the most number of times, which crimes are likely to be committed at specific places, and what time or periods are crimes at their most number of occurrences. The compilation of all this data are called crime statistics. So yung crime statistics, dinidetermine dyan all pieces of information regarding po sa crime, nire-record po dyan, nire-record on file kung unang-una, ano-ano ba yung mga nagagawang crime, ano yung mga nangyayari, pangalawa, ano yung area na laging nagkakaroon ng krimen, pangatlo, usually, kailan ba yan isinasagawa, daytime ba, gabi ba, madaling araw. So they're going to put into records kung ano po ba yung mga hinihinging data. Ano yung mga hinihinging information. So with that, once na meron ng record, the police officers, the law enforcement can now determine kung saang particular bang lugar mas marami nangyayaring crime, sa gantong oras, and anong particular bang krimen ang nangyayari. So, ang gagawin po nila, since alam na nila kung saan sila dapat magpo-focus na area, na oras, so that's the time na kailangan nilang magkaroon ng other plan para po mag-conduct ng crime prevention and crime suppression. So again, nabanggit na naman natin yung crime prevention, ha? Yung crime prevention is hindi mo i-allow na may mangyaring krimen. Pero yung crime suppression, ang ginagawa ng mga police is manghuhuli sila para malesen yung number ng crimes na nangyayari. Okay, yan po yung pinagkaiba ng crime prevention sa crime suppression. Take note of that, my dear students. Crime prevention and crime suppression. So, as stated on your screen, ayan po yung ating crime rate and crime volume. That is the formula ng ating crime rate and crime volume. So let's now proceed to discuss, to touch that topic criminals, since we're done discussing that term or all about crime. So andito tayo sa criminal. Syempre, we are referring to the person who commits the crime. Sino yung tao? Yung tao behind the commission of the crime. So, crimes exist because there are people who perform acts that are in violation of the law. Crimes can be understood better, the causes or reasons of the people who commit them can explain. So, in studying crimes, it is also important that the people involved are also examined. These who commit crimes are called, take note, criminals. Without criminals, there will be no crimes. Siyempre nga naman po, my dear students, kung wala pong magsasagawa ng isang crime, automatic, wala po tayong masasabing, okay, there is a crime commission. Kailangan may taong gagawa ng law violation for us to consider na yun ay isang krimen. The most basic definition of the term criminal is a person who committed a crime. Ang taong gumawa ng isang krimen. However, there are two distinct definitions of the term based on legal perspective and criminological perspective. So, in legal perspective or point of view, a criminal is defined as any person, my dear students, can you please write this on your notes? Any person who has been found to have committed a wrongful act in the course of the standard judicial process before a person can be called a criminal. He must have been judged guilty by the court for the crime he committed, and such judgment must be final. Therefore, a person can only be called criminal if the court has decided that he is. So, according to the legal perspective, masasabi lang na kriminal ang isang tao kung siya daw ay nahatulan na ng trial court na siya ay nagkasala beyond reasonable doubt. That would be the time na ikaw ay matatawag na criminal according to legal perspective. Let's now proceed to the criminological perspective. So, on this point of view, a person is already considered a criminal the moment he committed a crime. Based on this definition, a person who committed a crime, whether he was caught or discovered, whether he was arrested or not, whether he was judged by the court or not, it is already a criminal. Okay? So, yung una po natin on the legal perspective, masasabi pa lang na siya ay criminal kung nahatulan na ng korte. Sa criminological perspective naman, basta ikaw po ay nasabing gumawa ng krimen na yon, automatic, you are already considered as a criminal. Okay? Do I make myself clear po sa pinagkaiba, sa difference ng dalawa? So, sa classification of criminals according to etiology, pag sinabi po nating etiology, pinanggalingan. So, sa criminals, we have this chronic or acute criminals. Sa chronic criminals po, meron po tayong tinatawag na normal and neurotic criminals. So, syempre, we are referring to the mind reaction of the criminal sa paggawa ng kanyang krimen. Meron bang involvement ang utak ng taong yun sa pag-commit ng ganong crime? Siya ba ay mentally ill person? Siya ba ay nasa normal na pag-iisip? If that person can differentiate or can distinguish or can choose between to do good things or bad things. So, for the explanation of this, on the basis of etiology or the cause of the commission of the crime, criminals are either acute or chronic. An acute criminal is a person who violated the law as a result of reacting to situations, such as during a moment of anger or burst of feeling. A chronic criminal is one who committed a crime with intention and deliberated thinking. So, ang pinagkaiba po nito ng acute sa chronic, ang acute po kasi is, it is just a mere result of your initial reaction. For example, nakita mo na binubugbog sa harapan mo yung iyong kamag-anak. Siyempre, as an initial reaction, kadugo mo yon, kamag-anak mo yon, what are you going to do? You're going to help. Diba? I-rescue mo yung iyong kamag-anak or iyong kapatid. So, that is your initial reaction because ikaw po ay nagagalit. So, that is considered as the so-called acute criminal. For the chronic criminal naman, criminal, nagkaroon na siya guys ng pagpaplano. For example sa chronic, crush na crush mo yung isang babae. Gustong-gusto mo siya. You have the desire. Sobra ang desire mo sa taong yun. So, it so happen, pinagplanuhan mo siya kung paano mare-rape yung magandang babae na yun. So, ang ginawa mo, pinlano mo kung kailan siya lumalabas ng bahay, kung anong oras siya lumalabas ng trabaho, saan siya dumadaan, sa paanong paraan mo siya makukuha, sa paanong paraan mo siya madadala sa isang area, kung paano mo magkakaroon ng execution ng rape. So, that is a so-called chronic. Nagkakaroon ka pa ng iba't ibang paraan para mag-isip. Kumbaga, nagplano ka. To make the long story short, nagplano ka because that is your main intention. That is your main objective. Gawin mo yung krimen na yun. Pinagplanuhan. But for the acute, it means, yun po yung tinatawag natin na initial. biglaan mong nagawa kasi meron kang unexpected na naramdaman. Okay? So, under the chronic criminals are further subdivided into categories such as neurotic and normal criminals. A neurotic criminal is one who is afflicted with mental disorder, and such mental disorder is one that causes him to commit a crime. So, mental disorder, again, yung neurotic person, yung that is something meron na illness sa kanyang pag-uutak. While the normal criminal is a person who commits crimes because he looks up to or idolizes people who are criminals. So, naa-amaze yung itong normal criminal na to. So, meron siyang ina-idolize, naa-amaze siya sa ginagawang violent activities ng person na yun. Kaya siya nagiging normal criminal. Merong tao nagsiset as an example sa kanya para gayahin niya yun. So here are the different types of offender. So under this, we have this ordinary criminals. We also have this organized criminals, and we also have this professional criminals. So, under this classification of criminals according to the type of offender, criminals are classified according to the type of the criminal offender himself. An ordinary criminal is a criminal who engages in crimes which do not require any specialized or technical skill. It is said to be the lowest form of criminal career. So, take note of this, ha? For the ordinary criminal, they are considered as they have the so-called manner na it is the lowest form of the criminal career. Kumbaga, hindi niya yan kailangan ng marami pang training. Kumbaga, it is in natural way nakakagawa yung tao ng isang crime. So that is, yung tao na yon, it is considered as an ordinary criminal. Next is for the organized criminal. It is a one who possess some skills and know-how which enable him to commit crimes and evade detection. So ito pong organized criminals na yan, somehow meron siyang idea kung paano niya ikakandak yung kanyang crime. And at the same time, meron din siyang knowledge na pagka ginawa niya yung particular crime na yun, hindi siya matitrace. Hindi siya pwedeng malaman na siya yung gumawa ng crime na yun. So meron siyang konting knowledge. Yun yung tinatawag natin na organized criminal. For the professional criminals, these are characterized as highly skilled and methodical in their operations, that they are engaged in large-scale criminal activities. So they usually have connections with other professional criminals and usually operate in groups. So yung professional criminals, these are the so-called group of peoples. So ito po yung mga iba't ibang grupo or group of people or circle of individuals na they are all planning to conduct a particular crime, and at the same time, bukod dun sa kanilang circle, marami pa silang ibang connection para makapag-perform ng iba't ibang crime. So usually, itong mga professional criminals somehow related to mga terrorism, sila yung nagkakandak ng mga bombings, sila yung nagkakandak ng mga beheadings. Pag sabing beheadings, yung mga pagpugot ng ulo. So one of the professional criminals na maibibigay ko sa inyong example are the Al-Qaeda group. Okay? So yan yung mga malalaking grupo na nagkakandak ng commission ng isang crime. So here are the different categories under the according to criminal activity. So unang-una, syempre we are referring to criminals. So what are those activities? Unang-una, it is an accidental criminal, situational criminal, habitual criminals, or professional criminal. So ano po ba yung ibig sabihin ng mga yan? So una, a criminal who earns his living through criminal activities is said to be a professional criminal. Kung yun na yung pinakaparaan niya ng kanyang pamumuhay, so we can consider that as a professional criminal. Next, a situational criminal is a person, who gets involved in a criminal act because the situation presented itself. So, nakuha lang kasi ng pagkakataon kung bakit niya nagawa yun. So, it so happened, for example, for the commission of a crime, for example, rape case. So, it so happened during that time, nandun siya sa lugar na yun. So, kaya lang siya nagkaroon ng commission ng crime because yung mga kasama niya is nagkaroon na rin ng ganong klaseng senaryo. So, since nandun ka na, yung sitwasyon ang nagdala sa'yo doon, kaya ka nakakomit ng kasong rape. That is the so-called situational criminal. Next is the habitual criminal. As the name implies, is one who repeatedly commits criminal acts for different reasons. For example, for the case of theft. So, syempre, kumuha ka ng gamit na hindi sa'yo. So, in terms of this habitual criminal, ikaw ay gumagawa ng same act, same commission of crime, pero ang reason behind kaya mo ginagawa yun is may iba't ibang rason. For example, una, sa case number 1 mo ng pagnanakaw, kaya ka nagnakaw is kailangan mong magbigay ng help sa iyong mga magulang. Pangalawa, ba't ka nagnakaw na naman? Kasi po wala po akong pang tuition, sir eh. Exam na po namin next week, kaya po ako nakapagnakaw. Okay? Ibang rason, pero ano pa rin ang ginawa niya? Pagnanakaw. Pangatlo, nagnakaw na naman. Ba't ka nagnakaw na naman? Kasi po wala pong panggatas, sir, yung anak ko, kaya po ako nakapagnakaw. So again, meaning to say, ang habitual criminal, iisa, paulit-ulit ng ginagawa, but the reason behind ng criminal na yon kung bakit niya nagagawa yung ganong klaseng commission ng crime, it's just because marami siyang dahilan. Iba't ibang dahilan. And last, an accidental is a person who accidentally violated the law due to some circumstances beyond his control. So itong accidental criminal na to, so going back sa example ni Ma'am kanina, yung driving, no? Ikaw ay nagda-drive. All of a sudden, biglang umulan, madilim ang kalsada, nakabangga ka ng tao. So that is, for example, sabihin natin, nag-cause lang ng physical injury. Diba? Reckless imprudence resulting to physical injury. Hindi mo naman yung sinasadya, hindi mo naman pinagplanuhan. So that is an accident. However, kasabi nga ni Ma'am kanina, once you violate a law, even if it is unintentional, hindi mo sinasadya, it is still a crime. Okay? So ang tawag sa'yo is an accidental criminal. For now, let's call it a day. So I hope everyone, meron pong learnings, meron pong additional knowledge po tayong na-adapt sa presentation na binigay sa inyo ni Ma'am Villegas, and I hope this would give you or enhance more of your knowledge sa pag-aaral po sa subject or course natin na criminology. So for now, that would be all. Thank you so much. Kindly again comment below your name, including your year-end section, for me to recognize for those who watch or for those who tune in for this live streaming. Thank you so much, everyone, and you do have a great day and God bless.